Well, welcome to my toy life. This is, I believe, episode 16. And today we're going to have a little bit of a different perspective. We're going to have the wife of one of our creators. I kind of got introduced to her, I guess, a few minutes ago, but I've been listening to her comments many times in the background, and it was always so poignant. You know, she always had the right comment or the right answer. And I thought, man, that's cool. She's a cool lady. So we're going to have her on the show. Our guest commentator tonight here with me is Rick.
How you doing, Terry?
Great. Great to have you, man.
Thank you.
What you been doing?
I actually been working on some G.I. Joe classified figures. I have Angelo D'Annabelle flocking some heads for me. So I'm going to get into that a little bit. I can't spend a lot of money on it, but I'm going to get a couple figures that I hope look really good, with his help. So it'll be good. Yeah. I got a few figures to show.
Go ahead, show it.
I'll show you. This is one that we all love, and I know you love them. And this is the...
Oh, my goodness.
The Rhode Island State Trooper, right? Based on the Rhode Island State Trooper, who probably is the best looking state trooper in the country.
Yes, yes, he is. Yes. Debbie, get me a bib. I'm starting to drool.
I have a few of these. I think only one is complete. They were tough to get.
They are tough to get, unless you want to pay top dollar.
Yeah, I mean, I bought this years ago, and they were still commanding some money. And a quick kit bash I did that people might get a kick out of, because don't we all love German gorillas?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's cool. That is cool, man.
What? This is a 21st century uniform, a tanker uniform, SS.
Right.
This hat is vintage Action Man, and it fits this big giant gorilla head.
Man, what a deal.
I couldn't find anything else to fit him.
What a deal, man. Love it.
And another quick kit bash. And these outfits, I believe, were made by In the Past Toys. And they did these German officers, and they were all based on real guys. But this is a...
I love it.
This is a German summer uniform.
Yeah.
And of course, the figure is from Sideshow. I think he's from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So you got a vampire Nazi.
If you're dealing with Germans, you got to have bad people. So
yeah, that's right.
At least from that time,
That's right.
And this is another In the Past Toys uniform.
Cool.
I have no idea what they cost these days on eBay. I got these years ago, and the uniforms are excellent. The figures are iffy, but the uniforms are something else. But again, I don't know what they cost these days.
Well, one year at Joe Atlanta, I bought a Rommel at the swap. I bought him for $60, and I thought that was pretty high.
Yeah.
And before I could leave that swap, somebody bought him from me for $100. So
there you go.
I didn't even get to bring him home, man.
Was he Dragon Rommel, right?
Yes.
I have him. Yeah,
yes.
He's a good figure.
Yes, he is. I don't have him no more because I sold him.
How do you hang on to anything? You sell it. You flip everything.
I sell like crazy, man. I bought some figures the other day, and I have literally sold 5 of them already. I'm working on a London Bobby, and it's coming together. The hats are going to be coming from Great Britain, and they are flocked, so they're going to be cool. It's really exciting to be able to create stuff,
Oh yeah.
And I ran and got the nurse, the Vietnam nurse.
Yeah.
Which
those are cool.
Is one of the only things that Hasbro made back in that day. Of course, the original nurse is what, $800 or $900, maybe $1,000. So I don't have her.
Yeah, even more, I think. Yeah, that's really
Maybe.
high priced.
Well, without further ado, here's our guest, Angela. Welcome to the show, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I was going to ask you how you got into collecting, but we already know that
Well,
answer.
I'm an associate. That's what. No, seriously, I help him out, and when we got married, I guess I just loved Jim, and so whatever he was interested in, I was interested in, and I wanted to help him. Um,
Yeah.
he had various other interests. He was vacuuming, and he was collecting still. He was at the level that he was trying to collect pieces to supplement his collection rather than whole new sets, and
Right.
always missing a piece here and a piece there, or a piece of clothing or a hat or something. And so we would go to Joe shows just for that. And then he started getting interested in not vacuuming anymore. I heard him mention on another show that it started just getting too hot out there, and it really did. Like, he would have a fan, and the vacuum machine is super, super hot. And in the summer, he would just about pass out. He had to come in and have a big old huge thing of Gatorade. But anyway, so he started getting interested in 3D printing. My stepson came, and I think it was Tinkercad that he introduced to Jim from school, believe it or not. And it's, you would think that's kind of a toy, but it ended up, old Jim, he's pretty smart one over here. He ended up taking that to the next level and the next level and the next levels, way beyond any kind of toy stage. And he wasn't just playing with it, he was engineering with it. And so he's been making, 3D prints of pieces that, when he started making 3D printed pieces that actually snapped into old existing G.I. Joe toys, that blew my mind. I mean, I was really impressed. And I told him, I said, you do know you're engineering, right? You don't have a
Yes.
degree. I mean, he has a degree, but not in that. His degree's in marketing. I'm going to probably get in trouble for not telling the truth. I think he's got some kind of certifications in computer. I don't think his degree's even in computers, but he's got a marketing degree. So he's really good. And I'm sorry, and commercial art. I needed some what in commercial art, but at any rate, so he has all kinds of certifications hanging on the wall of graphic art certification and all these certifications he got through the years, and different computer software that he learned. But at any rate, so I wanted to support him as I saw this going into something that was a serious hobby. And then actually, I made a smarty remark one time. I said, don't you think you ought to be making some money with this? As much money as you spend on filament, And then, like, you're just, Murray Corrigan. Welcome, Angela. Hi. Anyway, so I said, you should, maybe sell some of this. So I think he was thinking that too. I don't think he needed my help. His marketing degree had already kicked in. And so great minds think alike. And so he was doing that. But then he thought of taking it to Joe shows, and and it wasn't really sure where to start. And I said, well, you just walk up with some of what you have and just, sell it. And he goes, I'm not a good salesman. And I said, you have a marketing degree. And he goes, but I'm not a good salesman. He goes, I know how to set it up and make it look good and merchandise, but I don't feel like I'm a good salesman. And I hope I'm not opening a can of worms here, but I've been told that teachers make good salesmen. And actually, I'm a certified teacher that, for the past few years has been staying home for 100 million reasons. But at any rate, I said, well, give it to me and I'll I'll talk up all of the positive points. I think part of it is that he feels funny saying, but he's a perfectionist. It's that German perfectionism the Egners have. But he's a perfectionist, and he has a hard time saying a whole lot of good about himself. And so I could get out there and brag about him, no problem, because I was really impressed with what he had done and how he'd done it. He had done the graphic art for all the boxes. He had ordered certain boxes that looked like, he had just made the whole thing, and he'd do graphic arts for the top of the box. And as y'all know, give me one of those boxes. But I ended up taking a couple of his Space-O-Matics when he made those to the DFW show, was it? This is a Space-O-Matic right here. Oh,
yeah, that was the first time that I heard about him.
And so I'm getting it, man. My sense of direction is all off. But anyway, you can kind of see the art here, and but he did the art on the top and on the boxes. And when I went in to say, hey, they knew Jim because he'd been to the show, and a lot of people there knew him. And they said, well, Jim, what you got? And I said, well, this is some, a couple of items, he had made a whole bunch of them, or was making a whole bunch of them, Space-O-Matic. And they said, wow, did he make the box? They just thought it was a box. And I said, no, he made the whole thing. And they said, wow, the box is worth money. Look at that art. And so
yeah.
That they were impressed with the box even. And so he had made, I don't know if y'all remember or familiar with it, but he had made it was a static model, but it was a model of a concept toy that Hasbro only made, kind of a little concept piece for a commercial, and they never, ever got into making this toy at all. And so all Jim had to go by were still shots, that commercial from the 70s, and his own sense of how it should all fit together. And so his spatial skills are just off the chain. Apparently, he was able to engineer this thing so that it was true to size. G.I. Joe fits in it, and it's pretty close to an exact replica of what they had in the commercial. Jim never saw it like in person. He never touched it. He never felt it. This is just from seeing the commercial. And so I was really blown away. And I sold both of those.
Tonight's show is brought to y'all by Jim Egner.
I'm sorry. I thought y'all wanted me to talk about. Putting up with a guy that 3D prints G.I. Joe stuff.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Angela.
Yeah,
you're doing great.
Keep going.
And
you're fine.
Yeah, and if you
I haven't hit the punchline yet. And so the punchline to that whole thing was, I go in there and Jim's like, oh, I don't know if anybody will buy this. And I'm walking around bragging, all the stuff I'm telling you, just, bragging all about it and everything. And I think it was within like an hour to maybe hour and a half at the most, I had sold both of them. They were $250 each. And there was one fella who was a vendor who said, I'm really thinking about buying that, but I don't know. Somebody else bought the second one. I walked back through and he goes, well, I'm ready to buy it. And I said, I already sold it. And he goes, you have any more? I said, no. And he goes, darn it. If you'd had a third one, I would have bought it. Yeah. So we could have made $750 in an hour and a half, but it was $500. I walked up and I said, well, here's your $500. And he went, what? And I said, I've sold them. And you could have sold 3 if we'd had more. And he goes, are you kidding? And I said, no. So anyway, I was kind of proud of myself.
Has he made more? Has he made more and sold them?
Oh, they're almost all gone. I think he has like 2 left or 3 at the most. That was a 50 count run that you did?
Yeah, it was the 50th anniversary of the moon landing when we did it.
Yeah.
And we did 50 sets.
And so wonderful. I think there's 2 or 3 left. and this was a few years ago. But
this year is the 60th anniversary of Joe, and he's working on something for me that I'm trying to put together for the 60th anniversary. Oh,
we're excited to go. We're excited to go.
Hey, Terry, did that come in yet?
No, it has not come in yet. But we'll keep our eyes out for it.
Okay, I was hoping it would be here by the show, but anyway.
What show is that?
Well, your show.
Oh, you mean tonight? I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it didn't make it.
Oh.
But when the sad thing is, I don't make a lot of things, but when I do make them, they usually sell right away, so I don't have anything to show anybody. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to try to make a show for this 60th anniversary one, even if they're already sold. You know, if they all sell out and I don't have any more, I'm still going to make a show with it. The helmet was made, similar one was made by Wolfpack over in Great Britain. And Wolfpack, I heard yesterday that Wolfpack was a company that was started because of COVID. This person could not do their regular job, so they created Wolfpack. And now they've gone back to their regular job, and Wolfpack is now gone.
No.
Yeah, they're just gone. And so those helmets that you made for me, you know, if it all pans out, I'm going to start selling them. You're going to have another thing that I'm selling because, hey, we're going to take the place of Wolfpack. You know what I'm saying? We may even make shields and swords. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
It sure does. It sure does.
So, Terry, what do you want me to tell you? What do you want to know? I'm sorry, I talked too much about that other.
I'll ask a question.
Go ahead, Rick.
I mean, you really support Jim.
Yeah,
I do.
But do you ever say to him, you know, you got to get rid of some of this stuff. It's a little too much.
No.
No.
Oh, no. No. Shoot, I'd be in so much trouble if I look at this collection behind me here. I'd be in so much trouble if I tried to tell him to get rid of anything.
right.
I don't know.
Right.
I want to live. I'm just joking. I like being alive.
funny me. I thought you liked Joe's too.
No, I do. I mean, he was the one that played with him as a kid though. You know, I had Barbie. I didn't have G.I. Joe.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never did I grew up in the country with this very practical, you know, farming family. We lived right outside of Longview, Texas, and we had a little farm. And I had a Barbie, and I had Barbie's dream car and dream kitchen, but that was about it. And I tried to get Ken, but I've been very interested in the flocking and the hair art on Joe, because every time I tried to get Ken, he had plastic hair. And I thought that was so irritating. Why didn't he have real hair? I was very frustrated and then they did come out with a Ken that had real hair, and it was going, and it was just weird. It just kind of stuck. It was straight, but it just stuck straight out. It looked very bizarre. And they were trying to get it to lay flat, but it wouldn't. And so I remember having some definite opinions about that as a kid. And you know, I wasn't into Joe's, you know, and I was into Barbie, but I remember having those conversations. If I was doing this, I would do. I mean, here I was, a little kid critiquing how they made the toy. I guess that makes me a bad person.
No, that makes you Angela. That makes you Angela.
No, that makes you a collector, because I think we all think like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
and I wanted to collect a lot more, but like I said, I was part of this practical farming family, and my mom's like, you have enough Barbie stuff, you know, and I ended up getting, I think, 2 Barbies and a Ken, because actually, I'm so embarrassed. I'm going to tell on myself. I was really irritated with the plastic hair. And I guess must have sounded spoiled. I think back on it and go, gosh, I must have sounded horrible. But we took that Ken back and got real hair. And then I wasn't satisfied with that either. I think I kept him because at least he had real hair, even though it looked ridiculous.
I'll have to send you, Angela, a picture of a guy that I ran into. He's in Europe, and he has created this entire little kingdom. It's a fake kingdom. Yeah. And he makes jewelry. And
oh, wow.
That's his specialty. But he also he puts real hair, not human hair, but real hair on Barbie dolls, and he puts it in there one hair at a time. And then he combs the hair, he designs the hair, and it looks like a real person. It's really awesome. And
wow,
because they're in this little kingdom that he has created, they wear crowns, and they have gold necklaces that he has designed out of jewelry. I'll have to send you a picture of some of that.
Out
That
of
is
real jewelry.
yes, real jewelry that these little Barbies and Ken are wearing. Yeah.
So has he done figures like Queen Elizabeth or anything like that?
No, his
Famous
kingdom has its own king and its own queen.
Oh, it's imaginary. Okay.
It's an
So
imaginary
he's pretty
kingdom.
good, though.
When he
He
does it,
could.
like he'll do a picture show where he, he'll present a lot of pictures. And one was when the crown was passed to another heir, and they had the coronation day, and they brought the big carriage in with the king and the queen, and I mean it's elaborate. It's something like 35 or 40 pictures that he does.
Oh,
just the setup on that is amazing.
Wow,
this is amazing.
Well, he ought to have. You know how Joe has stories. He ought to have fairy tale stories that go with
he
that.
He does.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. You can go and read through one of his tales.
Oh, that's neat.
It is neat. It is neat.
That is very cool. Well,
one of the things that I know that collecting, it's a hobby and it's something we enjoy doing. And everybody has their own hobby. Everybody has their own interests. And, my wife has put up with me, and she's put up with G.I. Joes for sure. But when all my kids moved out, we had a bedroom that, was not being used no more. And I thought I was going to be able to move in there with all my G.I. Joes.
Oh, okay. And that's logical.
She walked over there to the door one day and she said, "This will make a nice tea room." So how many?
You can always get like a really big curio cabinet and just have them inside glass in there.
How many teapots do you have in there, Debbie?
About 135.
She has about 140 teapots in that room now. So there's no room for G.I. Joe.
Oh, well, there's no room.
But
collection room.
as far as Queen Elizabeth, Dahlbase said Mattel made Queen Elizabeth, and yeah, I did see that. Thank you, Dahlbase. Okay. But that's a little bit much for me. I like Queen Elizabeth, but I'm not going to spend $75 on a doll. But they did make her, and Murray's wanting to know that link. I'll have to look it up and have to post it. If you are a member of my group at Toys Mine, you'll be able to see the link there later. But another thing I wanted to ask you, Angela, is that what is your favorite thing about G.I. Joe, or maybe your favorite figure? Do you have any favorites, or
I think it's my favorite thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead now.
My favorite thing about G.I. Joe is Jim and I are both huge supporters of the military. And to me, it's kind of a conceptual thing. It kind of represents an homage to all the armed forces and everything. For me, that's what it is. And so for me, that's what it is. He loves collecting, but I think it's that as well. Jim had, he had an Uncle Jay who was a test pilot, and he was a big, tough guy. And he had his grandpa was a state trooper in Arkansas. And so he's had, and who else did you have?
Was in the Navy during the war.
Grandpa Harry was in the Navy. He had a Uncle Obie who was actually German, and in Germany when they were trying to, when the war was ending, he stayed behind to help, keep the peace. And so he's had a lot of family that's been in the military and has always admired it. He never got in himself, although I think there was a secret fantasy to be in the Air Force, and fly like Uncle Jay and be a hotshot pilot,
Yeah, well, when I was in the 10th grade.
But so there's a great admiration for him, for the military, and me too, just because I'm very patriotic. And so we for different reasons, we both kind of feel that same thing. And when we go on trips, there's one thing that we do, and I guess one favorite figure would be Traveling Joe. We call him, instead of the Traveling Gnome, we call him Traveling Joe. And it's a certain G.I. Joe that Jim has picked, and he may dress him up a little bit differently depending on where we're going. We've been to Alaska. Well, he's been to Alaska several times. I've been to Alaska twice. And whenever we go on a trip, that's like going to be a big adventure, we always take Joe with us and hold him up or set him on a sign or have him pose some way or whatever. I wish I could. I'll have to send you a picture. I think there's a picture of Joe sitting up in a park in Alaska, and way in the background you can see a volcano in the distance, and he's just, looking real proud. Whenever we had Snowmageddon and we were like, oh my gosh, we're in Texas and we've got like a few inches of snow, we went out to the curb and the bank, and there was a kind of one of the lights from the house was shining on the snowbank, and we set him in the snow looking like he's up in the tundra in Alaska, and he's all dressed appropriately, and it was real cute. I'll have to find that picture too and send it to you. So, but we take him with us on trips and take pictures, set him up, somewhere and take.
A few years ago there was an Atom the Traveling Joe, and he actually went all across the United States. You signed up for him in one of the groups, and that Joe would actually come to your house, and they wanted you to then take him and pose him in different things.
Yeah.
And I just posted the link. I'm going to post the link here, and you can go to that group and you can actually see where Traveling Atom went. He came here to my town, and I took him all over town, took pictures. He was even in the newspaper in my town, and then you send him on to the next place.
So can you request that he comes to your house? I mean, can you request to get him?
Well, when he made that trip, okay, they tried to get him to all 50 states. I don't think he made it, but they tried. And then he was auctioned off at Toy Atlanta, and the money that they raised was given to the charity that they were supporting that year. So somebody has him, but he's already been,
I did one of those. I did a Traveling Joe. He got sent to my house. I don't know if it was Adam, and then you could dress him in a different uniform.
Yep.
But they wanted you to add something.
Yes.
Add something to the package and then send it on to the next guy.
Was he gray haired? Did he have gray hair?
Yeah.
That was Adam. That was him.
So I took a bunch of pictures of him. At the time, I just kept him in my little apartment, and I had everything set up, and he was meeting all my other Joes. And
Sure.
so I remember doing that.
I had a setup where he met President Trump at my place.
No, I had him. I think I had him meeting John Wayne, or he was looking.
Oh, that's cool. I saw him. He met Elvis Presley. He met Marilyn Monroe. I mean, he met all kinds of G.I. Joes everywhere. It was cool. Maybe I'll do it again. Maybe that's something we ought to do again, huh?
Yeah, why not?
Just talking about it's kind of getting me excited.
Well, if you get enough people to that participate.
Yeah.
We would. We'd take them all over Nacogdoches and take pictures.
Well,
since I did that, my photography skills have gotten a little better, so I can take better pictures of them.
Yeah, and by the way, you were in the calendar this year too. Did you like your picture in the calendar, Rick?
Oh yeah, it was great. Good.
Yeah. Wasn't that some awesome artists in the calendar?
Yeah, it was a good group this time.
Good group this year. Good group.
Yeah.
I think that's our 6th or 7th year. I can't remember.
Yep.
Well, here's a little trivia for you, Angela.
Okay.
What is the name of Sleeping Beauty's prince?
Oh.
Bob.
It's definitely not Bob.
No, it's not Bob.
Man.
Wow.
No, it's not.
We
Charming,
should all know this.
Yeah, we all should know it. We all should
Bob,
know it.
I know what it's not. It's not Charming, and it's not Bob. I don't remember.
How about you, Rick? You got any ideas?
And Sleep, her name was something like a flower or something.
Her name is Aurora. Isn't her name Aurora?
Yeah. No, I don't know who it is.
Aurora. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, her name's Aurora.
It's like Aurora up in the Arctic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I don't know.
Her prince was Philip.
Prince Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Such a simple name. Just never get.
All you need is a little faith, trust, and what else?
Hope. What's that
Pixie
from?
dust.
Oh, well, you got to tell me where it's from.
Okay.
It's from Peter Pan.
Yeah, all these are from Disney.
Oh, okay.
All
you got to tell me which Disney movie it's from.
Oh, I don't know that.
That may be
who is the youngest Disney princess?
Well, let's see. They keep coming up with new princesses all the time.
Right,
so,
they do.
Talking about traditional princesses, Ariel?
Or Snow White. Snow White.
Snow White?
Mm-hmm.
The youngest, really?
I didn't even know she was a princess.
Who is the youngest Disney princess? Cinderella,
you didn't know
Snow White, Elsa, and it's Snow White.
Oh, this is multiple choice. You got to give us. You got to give us the answers. Got to give us the multiple choice.
I'll give you the answers.
I jumped the gun.
Not the answers, but the multiple choice.
In 1929, Mickey spoke his first words. What are they? Cars, hot dogs, or help me?
Mickey spoke his.
In 1929, Mickey spoke his first words. What are they? Cars, hot dogs, or help me?
Help me?
I'm going to go with hot dogs.
It was hot dogs. You got it, Rick.
I thought the first thing he did was whistle a Steamboat Willie.
Yep.
Well, those aren't his first words. Those are his first musical.
Yeah, that's the first thing he did. That was the first
Murray
sound.
said hot dogs.
Murray got it.
Dogs. Yeah, Murray got it. Way to go, Murray.
Hot dog.
Oh my goodness, Angela, you're Mickey too, huh?
Yeah.
All right. What was Wally's job as a robot? A nurse, a mailman, or a garbage compactor?
Garbage compactor.
Yep, that's what he was. He was a garbage compactor. How many daughters did King Triton have in The Little Mermaid? 7, 1, or 5?
7?
Yep, he had 7.
We had a lot of daughters, Jim. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
You don't keep up with that. Ariel was the prettiest. That's what it was. And she had the voice. Anyway.
What name does Mulan pick for herself while pretending to be a man? Ping, Jing, or Zen?
Jing?
I go with Zen.
No, it was Ping.
Oh.
That's the name I would pick. Ping.
What is Tarzan's adopted mother's name? Nala, Gala, or Kala?
Kala?
Carla.
It's Kala. Yeah, it was Kala. What is the name of Belle's father in Beauty and the Beast? Maurice, Millard, or Marcel?
Maurice.
That's
Crazy
right,
old Maurice.
Crazy old Maurice. That's right. Let's see here.
That's one of my favorite Disney movies, by the way.
Is it? And why?
It's just sweet and romantic and, good wins in the end and all that stuff.
Yes. Nothing like having a girl fall in love with a monster.
But it turns out, see, this is the The real monster is Gaston.
That's right.
Talk about when
Gaston is the real monster. That is
Yeah.
so true. Well, let's see here.
I almost showed my custom Gaston tonight.
Did you?
Yeah,
You should.
I did. Yeah,
You probably got him. Is he too far away from you?
he's upstairs. Yeah,
Yeah, he's upstairs. Okay.
it's just Barbie put out that they did a pretty good Beauty and the Beast line.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, they did.
And Gaston's outfit is fantastic. So I
Huh.
slapped it on a Joe. And I did, of course, I did my custom, Beast. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
he's sitting up on there on the shelf. Yeah.
We'll go get him. Show him to us. We got a minute.
This was the one.
Do you have any of your Barbies left, Angela?
They're not in really good shape. Whenever they
really
had the flocking show, whenever they had the flocking show a while back, I wanted so badly to ask him, "Can you fix my Barbie's hair?" Because many years ago, when I got just disenfranchised, it's probably when I quit having very much to do with Barbie. I was a teenager, and about that time, all the teenagers start thinking, "Well, this isn't cool," So Barbie had just been sitting in her little place in the closet for a couple of years in high school. And then a neighbor's child came over and my mom said, "Sure, you can go play with her Barbies." Well, this little child would come and I don't know what she did. I know that she would come and pick up my mom's dish towel and just smear her nose on it. And then I would and my mom would go, "Well," and she'd just take it to the washroom. But then she went back there and looked like she did the same thing to my Barbies.
Oh.
Because the hair was it looked like a wishing troll. Somebody had just taken the hair and just went, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, what did she do to her hair?" And it was just ruined. And I hadn't played with them in a while, and I thought, well, Barbie, there she sat from then on. So I've kept her, but I haven't done anything really much with her. And so I was wondering if he could. She's still got the crazy hair, and I tried. No, actually, I tried to clean it up and brush it as much as I could, but it just brushed into a knot, and so it's just a mess.
Well, you see, that's because you did not use. That's because you didn't use cream rinse.
Yeah.
Well, I was a kid. I mean, I didn't know what to do to fix my.
Well,
so I was
I'm
upset.
saying, I'll send you a link or
go ahead.
a thing, and this man restores Barbies, and he has a website where you can ask any questions. And I asked him one time how to fix Barbie hairs, and he told me how to fix the hair, and he gets them back just almost as good as when they came out of the package. So I'll send you that information too later, and you can fix her hair. It's not a big deal. It's not. It really is not that big a deal.
Well,
here's the beast.
Then you got to buy a beast.
All right. Oh, so this guy, good.
He's not in his royal outfit or anything, but he is. I've shown him a couple times.
That is awesome.
Yes,
he is fully articulated.
Looks like the one from the TV series. That looks like the one from the TV series with what was her name? Linda Hamilton. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That he kind of looks like he's wearing clothes.
This was from one of the movies. Yeah. But he's flocked. And the original figure had 5 points of articulation. So he's got 30 points now.
Yeah.
So he's a fun one.
He is fun. It's amazing what you can do, Rick. Do you have any of the dog ones?
Great.
The core came out with where they had the dog heads.
I did a couple of them. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. So what? Let's see here. One more thing here before we run off. If you could do something to help Jim get more information out there about his stuff, what would you do? Would you create a website or well, he already has Etsy, right?
See, that's his forte. He's really good at creating websites. He's done just about everything there is to do, unless I advertised for him on Facebook. But I mean, he is just so good at doing that sort of thing for himself. So,
Right.
He's probably already thought of anything I could say. He's probably already thought of it. So
Yeah, but
he's the
that's
marketer.
great. That's great that you support. You know, he's lucky that you support him like that.
He is. He is.
I do.
I get. You got another one? You know, more. You know, so. But
I was doing that about the printers. I was like, goodness, how many printers are you going to get? But then he just explained. He said, well, you know, he'll get deep into what he's doing and forget to talk. You know, like he'll get just deep in. And he said, well, what I'm trying to do, and then this was, you know, a couple of years ago. He goes, what I'm trying to do is this is what I want to do for my retirement job. I'm trying to build an empire, you know, kind of, if you will. Yeah. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so you're like, and this was, you know, a while back, like I say, you go into, we call it the studio. It used to be a 2-car garage, and it was turned into a man cave. And it's the studio is what we call it. He actually has a name for it. Like he's actually got an official name. Mail comes there, E2 Studios, Egner 2 Studios. And so that's what he calls that end of the house. That's his business.
Right.
Even though he's got a job, you know. And so you go in there and it sounds, well, y'all tried to have shows in there. Hard to hear. It sounds like a little factory, you know. I mean, usually all the printers are running and it's just, you know, you can't have a conversation in there. Or if I try to use the internet on my computer and talk to somebody on the computer, I have to leave. I can't hear anything because it's chicka, 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 chicka. Just every spectrum of noises. Sometimes it sounds like little robots. Sometimes it sounds like people talking, you know, because of the unique sounds that the printers make. And I even had a family member come up one time and go, somebody was talking in there. Y'all were home. And I said, no, actually, we were gone. And the printer's like, you know, sounds like somebody having a conversation. So they just swore we were in there talking. I said, no, we were not home. But no, it gets pretty noisy.
Does he have them all running at the same time?
We had some talking points. We were talking about me maybe mentioning some things, and we've almost accidentally, I mean, just, you know, by default, we've almost covered all of them. But there was one thing that I saw on here that we had talked about, and that was to offer advice to collectors' wives. And I guess I would just say, be patient and support, you know, your husband, you know. I mean, it's and there's collectors, I'm sure, that are women, you know, but I mean, in our circle of folks, it's pretty much the guys, and just be supportive. I mean, it's these creative outlets are important. You never know when they might turn into a job and hey, money for a vacation, you know, something like that.
That's right.
I can't tell you how many times we have actually gone on a trip, and the only reason we could go is because he had made money with his 3D printing. And that was the reason we were able to go on any kind. And we don't get to go on like fancy trips. We're not rich around here. Right. Universities don't usually, universities may pay their professors well, but they don't pay their staff very well. And
no.
What I understand, SFA is one of the worst in the state. Love you, SFA, but glad we have a job. But they're not the highest paying by any means. And so, but no, it's it's good for guys.
Yeah, I was just telling my grandson that you know, I have a friend who was a doctor, and he was 1 year away from becoming tenured, and they let him go. And when he finally was able to find out, the reason was because they could actually hire 4 professors for the price they were paying him, because they had to pay him based on his education and his years of experience. And something needs to be, I
said, what stinkers? You know, couldn't they just let him get his tenure and then let him go?
Yeah, no, they didn't. And He told me that I'm finally doing what I really should have done from the very beginning, because I was sidetracked and, decided to go into education. But when I was a young man, I wanted to be a park ranger. And he said, that's what I am now. So,
believe it or not, I actually thought about that.
Yeah.
Like state parks, because I'm a history teacher, a history major.
That's right.
And,
that's what he is. He's a professor in history, and now he is a park ranger. Somewhere in Oklahoma, remember when they, what was the guy that blew up the building out there in Oklahoma? They turned that into a park. Tim McVeigh. Well, they turned that into a park, and he is the ranger of that park.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I had looked into that, and at the time it wasn't going to make enough money for, the time in my life where I was, the time where I was in my life and all that. And it's so sad, but money is the big reason I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to cost what it was going to cost me in the situation I was in to do it. And then the money I was going to make from it after I spent money getting the degree just wasn't going to be worth it.
No.
And so, and then they were like, well, you need to live in the ranger's house. And I'm like, what? I have to live here? Oh.
Yeah, no, he doesn't live there.
Awesome.
There are some park rangers that still live in the ranger house. If you've seen the guy that was here at the Toy Atlanta in Atlanta a few years ago, he made a G.I. Joe size. It was 17 feet tall, of those towers that they used to have all over the South that you'd look out for forest fires.
Yeah.
And
yes.
That tower, I could not. He made it by hand, and it's the size of G.I. Joe. I asked him, I said, what are you doing with it now? Now that you finished with it? He said, it's sitting in my backyard. It just sits there. But it's too big to take anywhere.
Cool. Yeah. I have personal experience with those towers. I'm going to have to tell a story here real quick if I
All right, tell it, and then we're going to go.
I'm sorry. Okay. When I was a kid, my husband and I have a lot of experience with people that just really dug into life. My uncle worked for the Forest Service, and he was in Upshur County, very, very country, rural part of East Texas. And that was one of his jobs, to go to the local tower that was what you just described and climb to the top and look for forest fires. We kids, kids do things they're not supposed to do. It was on the edge of the property of my grandparents, my dad's family. And we used to sneak out there and climb all the way to the top and hang out in the tower. Now, me being, usually scared of everything, that was one of the things that I thought was fun. And we were like, we could have killed ourselves. We were way up high. We weren't supposed to be climbing that tower, but we did it every chance we could. And the breeze would blow through, and we just look out over the countryside. And, if we had seen the fire, we would have told someone.
Would you do it now? I don't think I'd climb.
For a kid,
yeah, I wouldn't do it now. Well, listen,
when you're a kid, you don't realize. They say ignorance is bliss. You don't realize, you don't put it together just how awful it is what you're doing.
They don't send old men to war because we're smarter than that. But Angela, it has been a trip. Thank you for joining us tonight on the show. I appreciate you.
Can you hear me?
And everything that you have given us
thank you so much.
Exciting. We're all going to keep promoting Jim and Rick. Thank you for being here. One day we're going to do a show where we go to your storage shed.
Everything's here down in my basement.
I'm just teasing you.
I'll show you it. It's horrible.
Okay. Y'all have a good evening, and remember now, toys are fun. Bye.
Good show. Well done, Angela.
Well,